over, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Yashi. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for coming tonight. Tonight, our topics will be transition services, and we will also have our board elections. I would like to start by having our board members just say hello and what your role is really quick. I'll pass it to Edith first.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for coming. We're really excited about our meeting tonight. My name is Edith Bazil, and I am the treasurer on the board of SpEdPAC. And I will pass it on to Lisa Jean.
Hello, I'm Lisa Jean Graff. I am the secretary of Boston SpEdPAC, and I'm not sure who else is here, so I'm going to pass it back to Bethany.
Thank you.
Kiana is here.
Kiana, and I see Tanisa, and if you are on the board currently, please unmute and just say your name real quick and your role on the board.
Hi, Bethany. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am Tanisa Adele. I am on the board, board member elect. Thank you.
I see Kiona is here. Kiona, do you want to say hello? If there are any other board members present, just unmute, say a quick hello. Okay, we can move on to our BPS representatives. BPS representatives, if you would like to unmute and just say your name and what your role is in BPS.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Bethany. Hi, everyone. My name is Eleni Saridis. I'm a family engagement facilitator.
Thank you, Eleni. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Viviani. Excuse me. In the Office of Specialized Services, I'm a deputy chief. And I just wanted to let you know that Kay Seal, the chief, is on her way. She's stuck in a little bit of traffic with all the rain, but she will be here shortly. I know we have a special guest here tonight. Mo, do you want to jump on and say hi?
Hi, my name is Dr. Maurice Stein. Everyone knows me as Mo in the district, and I work for the transition department under Office of Specialized Services as a community connections facilitator for Strive.
And obviously we have Yashi, who is our amazing liaison.
And I'm Carrie Norman. I'm the liaison between transportation and special education, or OSS, excuse me.
Yeah, we have some folks here, Bethany from the family engagement team, and we also have some folks from the Strive team also to support tonight.
Excellent. I mean, please say your name and say where you're from. That would be great. Just so families can see you and associate a name with a face and an office.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jacob Dolangowski. I also work for the Strive department with Boston Public Schools as a community connections facilitator.
Thank you.
And I'm Brianna Estevez. I work as a family engagement facilitator with Region 1.
And I am Jaws Broadwater. I'm also an engagement facilitator representing Region 8.
And I just want to interrupt for a second. There was a request to put your name and your role in the chat. That would be helpful for parents. And if you can add an email to that, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue. If you are if you're here from BPS and you have not said hello, go on and unmute and say hello and what office you're here from. Is that everyone? Okay. That could be everyone. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Just a couple of quick announcements. I'm going to put a link in the chat for families if you'd like to subscribe to the SpEdPAC mailing list. I'm popping that in right now. My Wi-Fi is acting completely crazy. Yashi thinks it's the weather. I think she knows more about this than I do. Also, okay, there we go. Also, DESE is conducting their integrated monitoring review. I can put a link in the chat to explain more about that. They're looking specifically right now for parents in special education to speak with them. It's an hour interview, but you know, if you can't commit to that time, they'd be happy to hear from you in any case. They just really want to hear about families' experiences in the district and special education. It's a really important space for parent and family voices to be heard. So please, if you can, take the time to speak with them. The person conducting the interview is Michelle Hennessy Kowalczyk, and I'll put her information in the chat as well. I'll do it a couple of times for people who are just coming onto the Zoom because sometimes they don't get to see our messages. But there's her name, her phone number, and her email. You may have already filled out a survey, which is where you could have requested an interview with Desi. Even if you filled out the survey, you can still reach out directly to Michelle. She really would love to hear from families. And share this information as widely as possible with your parent community and network. And with that, I would love to introduce our presenter for transition. Our presenter this evening is Dr. Maurice Stein, and as he said, he's the Community Connection Facilitator for Strive. Thank you for being here with us, Maurice.
Of course, thank you. Would you like me to throw up the slides, or someone would someone mind assisting with that?
I don't mind. Just give me 1 second to pull up your slides. And
Perfect, thank you. And so while that's getting going, again, oh, are they going to go into their subrooms? Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. So again, during the presentation, we're going to have a Q&A after. However, if there are any questions that arise while we're within the presentation, my colleague Jake will be able to answer within the chat. So feel free to be active in the chat throughout the presentation. And again, after the presentation, we'll have a Q&A. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here tonight and inviting me to speak about transition resources in Boston Public Schools. Again, I'm Dr. Maurice Stein. Everyone calls me Mo. I've been in BPS for over a decade as a bilingual special educator. I've held a multitude of different teaching roles and leadership roles within the district. Honestly, I see myself nowhere else besides Boston. Both my parents were BPS graduates as well. And I currently hold a position within Strive, working as a community connections facilitator with 5 other colleagues of mine. And we divide across the district, consulting middle schools and high schools about special education, transition related services and opportunities. So with that, we could go to the next slide, please.
Really?
So we're going to cover a few topics tonight. Again, I'm more than happy to share this out at the end because I like to make presentations that are kind of clickable. There's a lot of different links and resources embedded within this that, again, it's great for families to be able to access these things and know what we're doing and what else is available. So if anyone on SpEdPAC, again, I put my email in there, but please feel free to reach out. I can send these to anyone. Next. So what is transition? Again, I'm here to present on transition, but I kind of want to define it. I wanted to define it by using some language within the IDEA, which was the Individualized with Disability Education Act of 2004. Essentially, this was a monumental law that provided free and appropriate education for students with disabilities. And within that, they made a point to define transition as a coordinated set of activities designed to be within a results-oriented process to facilitate the student's movement from school to post-school activities. And when looking at the idea of post-school
you just slow down a little for the interpreters? Just slow down.
Yes, I apologize. I'm sorry.
No worries.
And so when looking at the idea of post-school activities, it is individualized and it is not one size fits all. They have to align with the student's vision. And that's something we're really going to learn to understand tonight. Next slide, please. So when we're looking at the idea of transition within the IEP itself, This is a process that begins, the transition planning talks begin at the IEP meetings when the student is 14 or is 13 turning 14 within that IEP cycle. And these transition, you can look at them as these three different domains here: further education, employment, and independent living. But when we think about independent living, I want to split that into two domains. That would be living and then also leisure, which is extremely important to discuss as well. Next slide, please. So when we want to understand the domains within transition, it's when we're planning it, we like to use the term the 4 L's of transition. And we'll kind of dive into that on the next slide. And you can, again, break it into labor. What do you want to do for work? Learning. What do you like to learn about? Living. Where do you want to live? In leisure. What do you do for fun? When understanding this, it's about asking these 4 simple yet critical questions to the student at the IEP meetings and periodically throughout the student's schooling career. And it's essential because it helps guide the transition planning process. Again, these 4 domains, all of us are involved in this. When we think about post-secondary activities, everything will fall into these 4 domains. And this really helps to sculpt and guide the student's vision by asking these questions, and then what we would do as educators to support this vision. Without understanding where the student is and where the student wants to be, it's really hard for us to actively plan for these next steps as they continue through middle school, high school, and beyond. It's all about creating that buy-in, and again, falling back to continually getting to know what they would like to do and how we can support them. So I've broken it into 2 different domains. We're going to talk about in school and home. So school-based vocational employment continuum. We want to look at this as it is, again, it's individualized, and tasks and activities will vary depending on the student, what they're interested in, and their level of independence or level of need. So again, we start at the in-school pre-vocational. This can start elementary when we're looking at sorting, matching, alphabetizing, categorizing, learning basic prerequisite skills that we would need to then move on to the next step, which we would call in-school vocational opportunities. A lot of these can be programs that are created in schools, different partnerships, but also just utilizing different resources within the school. As we look towards the supported and the community-based, we're going to dive into these a little separately, but I just wanted to kind of highlight again that this is a continuum, and it is something that we have to build upon, depending on the student's wants, skill sets, strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately, again, I'm going to fall back to saying the student's vision. What do they want to do, and how can we help get them there? Or what is the best plan in mind with all the stakeholders involved to help support to get them there? And so, oops, sorry. 1 second, I apologize. And although many of these can be introduced in school and our practice in school, it's good to have this slide and highlight the skills that you as families are continually exposing your children to and working on at home, maybe without even recognizing that me modeling how to sort the silverware, and then them practicing doing the silverware with me till a few months down the road, where he's able to put the silverware away on his own, is actually exposing and helping him master pre-vocational skills. So again, just I'm not, I just not going to read through all of these. I'm going to share the slides, but I want you to see that there's a continuum that happens outside of school and in school, and a lot of the time they do overlap. And these are important conversations to always bring to the educators, so we know what support's happening at home, or how we can maybe push or manifest some of these different activities that they may be doing at school to happen at home as well. Again, students love routines and they love having consistency. So we really want to make sure we're always partnering and having opening conversations with families about the skills and activities that are happening in school and at home. So that was just honestly, I could talk about transition skills for a very long time. I but I wanted to just kind of outline the different areas within it and then show some of the different things that are happening within the district. So we're going to jump into the next area, which is something we'll go to the next slide, please. So this is a link to the resources curated by Colleen Fitzgerald, which is also a CCF for Strive. If you could click on the link to the slide deck that is embedded within. Uh-oh.
Do you want to just talk through in the meantime?
Yes, I could just kind of talk about it. So with that, again, one of the things we do is that we want to create, and we as in when we, not just me or my team, the district itself, when we're looking at transition, is creating exposure to the city itself. Work on travel training, work on creating different partnerships with organizations, and getting students embedded into job experiences that are in their community. And we do that through a lot of different partnerships that we've curated over the years, and also just opportunities that arise. We really there's within that slide deck. Again, I'll change it so then when it's shared with everyone, anyone can just access it. But again, this is information that we've shared across district to a lot of the educators, because it's not just a list of different applications that be completed, but it's an actual list of different opportunities that are curated for students. Again, we have different travel training opportunities. We partner with the MBTA, and they will help travel train a student from point A to point B. We partner with different organizations like JVS, where they create work experiences, job training programs, where they can lead to working at a hospital, working in food catering, working at CVS. There's a multitude of different domains that programs like JVS help us explore with these students. Having said that, there's a number of things that we bring to the schools as well. There's the program through MRC, which is now called Massability, and they provide different in-school vocational trainings that we like to have spread throughout the schools as well. So again, we want to make sure that we cater to every school and their population and bring as many community-based transition resources as possible. I strongly suggest that you just peruse through that slide deck as well, because again, there's a lot of different things that even, talk about education-wise, of partnering with different colleges to get a college experience, things of that nature. So it'd be something worth visiting, I would say. I apologize for the technical difficulty with that. So I want to talk a little bit about massability. When we're talking about transition resources, there are two pieces to massability. And a lot of people think that you're signing up for this when you're an adult, when you're 18 plus. And that is true. There is a component of signing up for the kind of adult services, you would say. But massability, you can apply and get accepted if you have a documented disability. Starting at the age of 14, they can help provide different job training services and types of different types of resources that would help work towards independent living and just again kind of post-secondary transition planning. Again, anyone who has a documented disability can apply for massability. A lot of BPS teachers help students apply for it with services when they're turning 18, or we bring again, this is one of the organizations that comes to schools and does job training and job coaching and placement. I would recommend families can complete this, and it's something that they provide services in multitude of languages. They partner with different agencies that can just, one important thing to say is that you have a great team when you're in school, when you're a student in BPS. But one of the things we want to secure through transition is that you have a team for after BPS. And this is one of the key features of having a team after BPS, massability, and later we'll discuss DDS as well. But again, anyone can apply for it just by clicking on it. You don't need to have credentials or be a teacher or educator or anything of that nature. Families can apply. The student themselves can apply. But again, one critical question, they have a few questions about just describe the disability, how it affects your impact in your ability to work. So having said that, you want to make sure that you have that person present or that you're comfortable answering those questions because that will help dictate what services and what direction they want to head into. Again, we're here to support people getting into this program, and it's something that will stay once you're in as an adult, the 18 plus, you are in for life. So that's just good to have that known. The next slide is regarding Department of Developmental Services. That is a little more, it plays to a different role in an extent that it has heavier amount of services and it has a stricter criteria to be accepted into DDS. We do what is called the 688 referral. Again, DDS is a state agency, and the local school systems, aka Boston Public Schools, will file the 688. You have to have a login. As I said, for Massability, anyone can just kind of jump in and sign up. But with DDS, it is a lengthy process to determine eligibility and get the student in. However, I will say that Boston Public Schools has a dedicated team, the Strive team, that will help guide you through this process. We will file the 688 or help the school file the 688, and we will again walk through the DDS application, what paperwork's needed, and assist with getting the intake interview. We partner with DDS to make sure that there's a smooth transition. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to BPS because I've talked to administrators, special education teachers in other districts, and there is no team designated to deliver this and ensure that people are getting into DDS. Other districts have told me that families will partner with other families or say, check in with them. They've done the process, and some families will generously kind of, take a couple phone calls, help them through the process. But with, again, in Boston Public Schools, we will make sure that the application is completed and we will make sure that, you're connected with DDS, that the language needs are met, and that we are able to ensure eligibility if it is appropriate. For DDS, again, I said with Massability, anyone with a disability can apply. But for DDS, the requirement is that it's an intellectual or developmental disability with a medical diagnosis. And they also follow up with the IEP evaluations, the psychological reports. It's an extensive amount of paperwork that we in Boston Public Schools will compile and send over on your behalf to ensure that they have everything they need and that you, if deemed eligible, able to do so. So, and when we're in DDS, I just kind of want to describe that there are two ways to look at it. It's a situation where if the level of need deems an adult placement, that can be provided through DDS. We would help set up tours, transportation, and they would ensure that the adult now has a program, perhaps a day hab of sort. There are other adults who show more independence and they're self-directed. They can still receive funding, transportation needs, and have almost a job coach if they've, again, gone through the vocational curricula continuum and have reached the point where they can obtain a job. Then they could still get DDS support and have a job coach through DDS to check in on them. It's a high level of support that caters to your individualized needs, but it is a lengthy process. But we are here to support in that. And we lead different presentations discussing DDS eligibility and just kind of partnering with them to share this wealth of information. Because again, it is a process that if you haven't been through it, it's beneficial to have support in the team to help that happen. So with that, I've said a lot. I hope I didn't talk too fast for the interpreters. I myself am a trained Spanish interpreter. I understand that I'm supposed to talk slower than I was, and I apologize for that. But I hope everyone was able to enjoy this content. I'm open to answering a few questions about what we discussed tonight. And I would encourage if we could just, I'll make sure that that other slide deck is available, the one that's embedded about the community opportunities. And so then we could have that just shared out to everybody as well with the general presentation.
Thank you, Maurice. Do anyone, families or parents, have questions for Maurice?
I just want to raise the one that was in Spanish. Bethany, if you don't mind, a family did ask what happens when you don't have a social security for a student for the application process that you were talking about earlier. Well,
Oh, for the massability,
yes.
I would I'm actually not sure. I do believe that that is one of the questions on the application. I honestly don't want to provide an incorrect answer. I would have to I'd speak to my partners at the program to determine if that is an issue or not.
For the person that's iPhone 13 for the interpreter lady, if you don't mind letting her know, if she could put her email in the chat, Mo and his team can follow up.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. We also have a hand raised. Carol, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, hi, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
My question is, you said I could get this application from the school. Who would I see in regards to that?
Are you referring to the massability?
The DDS program.
How old is your child?
He's 16.
He's 16. What school?
The Madison.
The Madison?
Mm-hmm.
Would you throw your email in the chat and we could discuss that further? We had having said that, I myself I'm designated to a number of schools. One of my colleagues who has the same role as me is designated for Madison. So they could reach out to discuss with you about the process of applying for DDS, going through the eligibility process. They're the actual Madison Connect, if you will.
Okay, so should I address my email directly to you?
Yeah, you could throw it in the chat.
Okay, great.
I'll see her tomorrow, and I could pass it along for you.
Okay, and so someone will get back in touch with me in regards to that.
Yes, if you could, if you wouldn't put in your child's first name, if you're comfortable, or just the email, and then I could just get back to you tomorrow. Sorry, I'm just looking for a pen.
Okay, I'm putting his information in too. Thank
Carol,
you.
Carol, make sure that you, when you put your information in the chat, that you indicate that it's for Maurice. Just because we have a lot of emails in the chat,
I'm
just so
sending
Maurice.
it directly.
You're sending it directly to him. Okay,
yes.
Beautiful. Okay,
thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we'll take a question from the chat. Yashi, I see there's Spanish or any of these questions for them, so we can go one chat, one Zoom, one chat.
Yes, there was, well, the same person, Mo, said her child had applied and hadn't received a response, but I just emailed you with that parent's contact information, Mo, if you could please follow up.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. And then we have another question from the chat, a hand raised. Zoe, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, I'm sort of new to this group. I'm Zoe. I have two kids, special needs IEPs that are 11. So what you're talking about doesn't directly apply. I mean, I'm trying to deal with transition from 6th grade school to 7th grade school. So that's a different transitional thing I'm trying to deal with. But I'm wondering, for your program, I wonder if I should reach out to you later. Professionally, I work with vocational schools, training people for working in factories. And I thought, wow, maybe I should see if we want to collaborate with people in Boston to see if we could help people in Boston who might want to work to help build products, bringing manufacturing to the United States, whether that's somebody, I wasn't sure who I should reach out to. That's just something professionally I'm looking into.
Please and thank you. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have
Yeah.
a huge need in the workforce for people to help build products in Massachusetts. And
Yes.
oh my
Yes.
goodness, I'm training people. I work at MIT and do all kinds of stuff there. And I'm thinking maybe we should link in with BPS and see if we can provide jobs and training for some people. So who should I reach out to? That's a great connection if you guys are interested.
Yeah. These do you want to would you mind putting your email in the chat?
Yeah, I just put strive at for Mo, if that's okay with you, so they can follow up.
That
with
works too. Yeah, that's kind of the that's the department email, and we all have access to that.
Wait, you want to send it to Strive? Sure, I'll totally send an email
Yeah,
to Strive.
strive at bostonpublicschools.org. I know that we have a few minutes for more questions before we wrap up. So
You're
for
great.
anyone that we
I'm
don't
glad you
get
guys
to,
exist.
please use that email.
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are there people who help with transition, different kind of transition, but from 6th grade to 7th grade schools? I'm having a lot of challenge transitioning in terms of getting the IEPs looked at by the new schools. It's a whole different department, probably. Maybe it's another question I should ask somebody about.
I mean, just from one parent to the other, I would say reach out to that school and just identify. You could get a head start of saying, my child has an IEP. I just wanted to send this over. Understand who the coordinator of special education is there, and just kind of maybe even I always recommend. I don't know if that happened yet, but taking a tour of that school as well, just to have the conversations when they get home.
Yeah, it's a little more. I mean, I've done all that.
Perfect. Yeah, no, you're ahead of the game.
Be fine. I'm like, no, you're not. My kid is violently explosive. You can't just be fine. This is something that has to be a conversation. They're like, no, we'll be fine. I'm like, no, you want to have a conversation with me. So I'm having some challenges, but that's a separate question probably for somebody from BPS. I'm not sure who I should reach out to, but that's
I just wanted to jump in, Zoe. My name is Kay Seal. I'm the Chief of Special Education for BPS. And I think that's a great question. And I think as shared earlier through the presentation, it starts at age 14 as the transition plan, which is added to the IEP as part of options for children or young adults from 14 to 22. So that's also discussed through your child's IEP team meeting, and that's done through the transition plan. And they're real key questions that's being asked. And I think you just asked a question just now that parents need to know that they have a right to ask through that meeting discussion. And the development of the plan is very individualized towards your child. Sometimes there's also an assessment that's done as part of looking at what is your child's interest, and also helping parents understand what options are available in terms of their child's vision, as well as looking at what's available for their child throughout his or her schooling. So that's done through your coordinator of special education, but it's also part of the team process as well.
Thank you, Kay. I think her students are 11 years old, and she was looking for support from transition between 6th and 7th grade, not the specific.
Thank you.
Zoe, transition, the way we're speaking of it today means, it means the step from 14 up. So, but you also should reach out to Kay Seal for the question that you're asking, transition from 6th grade to 7th grade.
And I'll put my information in the chat.
That would be amazing, and I'm just happy I happened to join because professionally at MIT we're looking for people to find employment in factories, and this is a perfect space possibly. So I'm looking for other collaborations with BPS. But Kay, about my particular questions, I'll reach out offline about my particular 11-year-old questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zoe. We have time for these last two questions. We have 2 hands raised, and then we will have to move on to our next portion. If you do not get to ask your question live, please put your question with your name and your contact information in the chat, and we will get an answer for you. Okay. So iPhone, your hand is raised. If you could put your name, that would be wonderful, but go ahead and ask your question. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Kim. My question was, he was speaking about a form that was very important after you're 18 years old. Is he talking about for college?
So I was talking about a number of different things. Again, there's different services that are or different applications that are applicable once you're 18, because then they're they're an adult, right? They're recognized as an adult. And I was saying that massability, you can apply and receive services when you're 14 up to 22 if you stay in school until you're 22, or once you're 18, you can apply as an adult for adult, and staying within the adult services world for that. DDS is the same idea of that there's two different applications depending on if you considered a child or an adult. So it's really like a case by case.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And we have one more question from Diane Janelle. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just pressed it. I don't think.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
No, hello.
Okay. No, I didn't have a question. I was just throwing some information out there about DDS. My son has been in the program about 6 months now, and it's a good program to be in. That's all I wanted to say.
That's great. So they've been really supportive in communicating with you.
Yes, they
Awesome.
have. I mean, it took a while to get a hold of them, but finally I got a worker after like 5 months. And last year, Leonardo went to swim classes that they paid for, and they're potentially in July. They're gonna pay for swim classes for him. He's 4, and he's also autistic, so it keeps him busy.
And it's just good to be able to secure DDS at this young age, so then you're familiar with them, their services that are available, knowing that down the road possibly you would be applying for adult services. It's just good to already have a lot of experience with them. That's great. Well done.
And I'm also on the SpEdPAC at the Manny. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you both so much. We are out of time for questions. There is one request in the chat that Maurice, I think you could just blurt this information out, but someone says, when are COSAs told to share this information with about Strive with their families? And it says at what age IEP, what is the directive? So it says, thank you. It seems this is the first many of us are hearing this.
So again, when we look at transition, and I was pulling back to when it was kind of identified within IDA in 2004, we identify it in the IEP when they're 14, when they're 14 years old for their IEP, or when they're 13 and they'll turn 14 within that IEP cycle, right? Say the IEP is written in September, they turn 14 in December. We're going to make sure to include that transition planning within the IEP. And we are on, again, the Strive team is split amongst the districts. So we partner with all the middle schools and high schools. We work with the coast directly. We work the special education department directly. We're in those schools on a frequent basis. They know us. And we utilize that partnerships to help guide the transition process for all of those students. Again, we have identified, what schools have particular programs, and we work with them to the best of their ability. But again, when we're looking at it, the ages, again, I'm super redundant, I'm sorry, but 14 or 13 turning 14 within the IEP cycle.
Maurice, I have a question. I know we're short for time.
Yes,
I
we have
wasn't
to
able
move
to
on.
raise my hand, and I would like to ask a question, please.
Yep.
We do have to move on.
I
This
would
will
like
be
to
the
ask
last
a question, please.
Okay,
Thank
yes,
you.
this will be the last question.
So, Maurice, my
Yes.
son has sickle cell disease. He also has been physically assaulted by staff and been through a lot of stuff at the McKinley High School. He's on an IEP. With his sickle cell disease, he needs door-to-door transportation, which has been neglected. And in regards to his IEP, nothing has been established. And he goes to school every day to try to get his education in alignment and to make sure he's successful. But it doesn't seem like the wraparound supports are effective. Everybody has a title, everybody gets paid. These children are trying to get help to navigate and go forward. But with all these titles and all these staff members, excuse me, overlooking children, how does that accomplish anything?
So I want to thank you for just being here, being present, advocating for your son, advocating for students in BPS in general. I apologize that all that has happened just on the behalf of that. It's hard to hear these things. I myself am a parent as well. I don't like to hear these things. I would recommend that this is a conversation that we can kind of continue at a later time, so we could really talk about this and understand it a little bit further, if that would be okay with you. You could share your contact information with me, and I could have myself and appropriate staff. We could follow up.
Well, Maurice, you've
I
been
just want
very
to say,
elaborative.
Yeah.
I just want to say something. These are really complex issues, and that's why SpEdPAC is here to advocate for students who are not getting their services. So we are having board elections. We have a full agenda, and there's some things that we have to get to. And absolutely, these kinds of questions are critical, and this is why we're here to really figure out how we can support the district, and in some cases, push the district to make sure that these gaps are filled. So let's put that information in the chat. We're going to definitely follow up. These are the issues that we're here for, and these are the issues that we individually as parents and guardians and family members struggle with, and collectively we can change what happens within the lives of our children. So I'm just going to kind of put that as a parking lot, and then we can move on and really talk about how we can robustly address these issues. But thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, and the person who just spoke with iPhone on the screen, Edith Bazile is a really great resource, especially for students at McKinley schools. If you want to reach out to her directly through the chat and give her your email, your name, and remind her of what you just spoke about, we'll save the chat and she'll be able to get in touch with you. But she's a wonderful resource. Many parents on SpEdPAC are wonderful resources because we've been doing this for many years. We do have to move on to our elections. I am so sorry to anybody who did not get to ask their questions live. Please, again, put your name in the chat with your contact information and your question, and we will save the chat and we'll make sure that your question gets answered. With that, I would like to turn it over again to Yashi Perez, who will facilitate the elections along with Eleni Saridis.
Thank you, Bethany. I'm going to be sharing my screen in one moment. 1 second. So thank you everyone for being here today. Before we begin, I would like to say thank you to our Boston SpEdPAC that volunteered their time this year in the general meetings with the district, with the superintendent, and on all of your work in supporting families this year. So I just want to acknowledge that because this might be our last meeting. So I just want to make sure that all of you know that we are grateful for all of you. As we begin, I just want to make sure that anyone that would like to participate in today's election, please rename yourselves with your full name, and we will get there in just one second. So welcome to the 2025 Executive Board election for Boston Special Education Parent Advisory Council. This year, BPS staff will oversee and facilitate the voting process to ensure transparency and fairness. The SpEdPAC election process is based on the rules in the group's bylaws accepted in 2011. This plan for the Boston SpEdPAC election was created by the Federation for Children with Special Needs in collaboration with Boston SpEdPAC last year. And it is based on the core values of equity, accessibility, and transparency guided by the decision-making of the group. Bethany, if you don't mind, I would appreciate if you shared, since you do this with us.
Absolutely. Okay, so the roles that are open in this election are, chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and board members at large and alt board members. All 4 elected officers, so those are the elected officers, the SpEdPAC officers are chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. All 4 elected officers are responsible for attending the following meetings. And the meetings are generally virtual, but flexibility for meeting in person is encouraged. Meeting times are determined by the availability of the meeting participants. So the incoming board and OSS will determine the meeting times. There are bi-weekly meetings. Those are 35 to 40 times each year. Those are meetings with Chief of Specialized Services and OSF staff. They're approximately 1 hour, and they're often during the school day. Sometimes they're in the afternoon or early evening, but again, these meeting times will be determined by the board and Specialized Services. There are monthly meetings. We have our general meetings. Hang on one second. I have an adorable child sitting here. We have monthly meetings. Our monthly general meetings, each meets 10 times or more each year. We have officer board meetings. Those are monthly. Those are usually about 1 hour, and those can be held on a weekday afternoon or more likely in the early evening. Those are also determined by the members that will be participating. We have executive board meetings. I'm sorry. Officer board meetings were what I just said. So the officer board meetings, those are usually bi-weekly, and those can be on a weekday afternoon or in the early evening. Those are the officers. That's the chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. We have executive board meetings, which is the entire board. Those are monthly. Those are usually about 90 minutes long, and those are usually on a weekday evening. And then we have our general membership meetings, our general meetings. Those are usually 2 to 3 hours. Today, we're participating in a general membership meeting. Those are monthly. They're usually 2 to 3 hours. There are 7 meetings on different topics. And we also have an in-person resource fair. And then we also have an in-person holiday social. And is this the next slide?
Yes.
Is that right?
This is your
Okay.
last slide.
Last slide.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
We also have biannual meetings, which is 2 times each year. This is when SpEdPAC attends the Boston School Committee meeting to support SpEdPAC presentations. And those are usually weekday evenings in October and May, and those can be 3 to 4 hours. And that's when SpEdPAC presents at school committee.
Bethany, with the lack of enrollment of children going to the McKinley and the failure of wraparound supports and all the things that are so beautifully presented that's not effective or manifesting, are we just speaking feathers in the wind, or is it actually going to happen?
I think, again, you should definitely reach out to Edith Bazile. She's someone that supports many families at McKinley schools. She understands. She's the expert on our board right now.
But
the ins and out of.
we are a team. We're a team. We can't put everything on Edith.
No,
Everyone
we're
has
not
their
putting everything
knowledge.
on Edith at all. But Edith is happy to reach out to you, and we'll move forward with the elections. And then please reach out to Edith. Reach out to myself.
Well, thank you very much, Bethany, for cutting me off and not hearing what I have to say. I appreciate it.
I would love to hear everything you have to say.
No, you cut me off and you don't want, you can move on to the next slide.
I just want to say that after we have the election, time permitting, we'll take questions that we haven't been
Yes, we
able to
will.
take. We want to make sure that we get the elections done, and so we can explore and talk about those issues, because parent voice is critical, and there is a lot that needs to be fixed, and that's what we need to address. So we're not trying to shut anyone down. We just need to get through the elections, and then after that, we'll go back to the questions and answer questions that people have, because that's important, and that's why we're here. That's the only reason we're here.
Yeah. And we do have, we have interpreters, and we have people that are only here for a certain allotted amount of time. But Edith and I and other people will be here. We can stay with you throughout, but these people will need to leave at a certain time. So we will go ahead and finish. We'll finish our elections, and then please we'll continue the conversation. Okay. All right, so our annual meetings, we meet with the district to assist in planning. I'm sorry, the annual meeting is pretty much the first meeting that we have, and that's planning our SpEdPAC general meeting topics. Those take a little bit longer. They can be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. But that's like the meeting that sets the year. We plan the topics for the year. We plan the facilitators, and we kind of get everybody going. As needed, we have as needed meetings, ad hoc meetings with BPS departments, usually 1 to 5 hours per month, often during the school day, sometimes afternoon or early evening. We also have weekly meetings with the Office of Specialized Services. It's the officers, again, the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, and the treasurer meet weekly or bi-weekly with the Office of Specialized Services to discuss ongoing issues and topics and collaborations. And then we have meetings to support SpEdPAC subcommittee work, SpEdPAC community events, SpEdPAC priorities, SpEdPAC administrative functions. These can range anywhere from 1 to 5 hours per month, often during the school day, sometimes in the afternoon or early evening, occasionally the weekends, but not usually. And again, these meeting times are set by the people participating in the meetings. So everybody gets together, and you know, if Monday works for everybody, you all meet on Monday. If Thursday works for everybody, you all meet on Thursday. The meeting times are very flexible.
I just want to
And
interrupt for a moment. I'm so sorry. Are these meetings in person or is it Zoom?
They're generally, since the pandemic, they're generally on Zoom. There used to be in person before the pandemic, but we've noticed that we get much more engagement when the meetings are virtual. We would like people to remain flexible to having some meetings in person, because there is an element of being in person that is missing on Zoom, but Zoom has really provided a lot more accessibility to families. So there will always be virtual access, and then the incoming board the incoming board will decide how meetings will look going forward. Okay, and back to you, Yashi.
Just to be clear for that parent, we've had all Zoom meetings since, I believe, 2021. So for the past 4 years, it's been all Zoom, and it's going to continue that way unless something changes. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to pass it on to Eleni Saridis. She's a family engagement facilitator. She will get us through the next couple of slides. Eleni?
Thank you so much, Yashi. Hi, everyone. Like Yashi said, my name is Eleni Saridis. I'm a family engagement facilitator for Region 9. So I work with lots of high schools. It's an honor to be here today to help facilitate elections. I'm also joined by my colleagues, Ms. Brianna Estevez and Jaza Browater. So if you have any unique questions regarding family engagement, please drop them in the chat. So let's commence. Voting member guidelines. All voting members are encouraged to participate based on Boston SpEdPAC's bylaws. You are eligible to vote if you are present in this meeting during this time and your child is a resident of Boston and you match one of these 3 descriptions. The first one is you are a parent, foster parent, persons acting as parents and legal guardians of a child or children with a disability or disabilities who have individual education plans and or a 504 plan, or parents and persons legally acting as parents, such as foster parents, grandparents, legal guardians, who have requested that the district evaluate their child for special education services, or students with disabilities who have reached their 18th birthday. Guidelines continued for voting members. The 2011 bylaws did not consider elections being held online. We have added these requirements. For your nomination and or vote count, your Zoom name must be your own full name. As this is a public vote, all voters must be identified. Voters from, let's say, iPhone or a letter J, or anything other than the voter's full first name and last name will not be counted. If you intend on running for a seat, please take a moment now to change your full Zoom name to reflect your own full name. All voting members are expected to have their cameras on during the election. Voting members are not required to vote. They can choose to vote in the race for one position, multiple positions, all positions, or they may choose to not vote at all. It is the voting member's choice. So, steps to tonight's election process. Tonight, we'll follow a clear step-by-step process to elect members for Boston's SpEdPAC Executive Board. We'll walk through what positions are open, what the roles involve, and how nomination and voting will work.
Before I move on to the next slide, Bethany, can you confirm which roles are open at this time?
The roles of chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary, and board members at large and alt. So basically all seats are open for someone to be nominated or nominate themselves and run for.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. So, election process step by step. Step 1, announcing open seats. A BPS facilitator will announce the open positions: chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, 8 board members at large, and 4 alternative board member seats. Step 2, role information. A BPS facilitator will share role responsibilities, time commitment, expectations. Step 3, election process for each. Each position will be handled one at a time, from chair to alt members. For nominations, for each seat, the role description is read aloud. Nominations open, where members can nominate themselves or others. Nominations must be typed in the Zoom chat within 2 minutes. Facilitators will confirm eligible nominees. Nominees nominated by others must accept or decline. Final nominee list is shared in alphabetical order by last name. Election procedures. Candidate speeches. Each nominee has up to 2 minutes to speak on why you're seeking the position. Why do you want to serve? Oh, sorry about that. Why do you want to serve Boston students with disabilities? What strengths do you bring? 30-second warning will be provided at minute and 30 seconds. Speaker muted at 2 minutes unless using a translator or has a disability. An option to share written statement in chat, facilitator will read aloud. With accommodations, up to 4 minutes will be allowed. Voting process. Voting happens in the Zoom chat. 1 vote per member per position. If multiple votes are cast for one seat, all votes are disqualified. Voting window, 2 minutes. Late votes will not be counted. Counting and results. Facilitators collect and review all votes together. Final vote count confirmed. Electee is announced. Then the same process is repeated for the next seat. Voting limits and closing. Excuse me. How many can you vote for? Chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, vote for 1 nominee. Board members at large, vote for up to 4 nominees. Top 8 vote go-getters win if they get at least 1 vote. Alternate members at large, vote for 1 nominee. Top 2 vote-getters win if they don't get at least 1 vote. And final results. Once elections are complete, names of all new executive board members will be shared in the Zoom chat. The interim chair closes the meeting, which is Bethany.
All right, so I know that some folks have already started nominating. We haven't begun just yet. I appreciate everyone's support at this time. So like we said, please rename yourself if you haven't already with your full name, and we will begin shortly.
Executive roles. Let's begin. The chair's roles include set the agenda for all executive board and general meetings with input from the executive board and request district distribute information, run general and board meetings, and perform other duties consistent with the office, Appoint committee members for committees working with the district to deal with specific tasks and challenges. For vice chair, support the chair at general meetings and facilitate
Just pause on the chair because we're
Sure.
just gonna do the description and then we can start the voting.
Okay.
So for anyone that would like to either nominate someone or nominate themselves for chair, I'm gonna start the timer. Hopefully this works. If not, I will start my personal timer. Give us 1 second.
I'd like to nominate Edith Bazile.
1 second, Bethany.
Okay, sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I was like, I don't know if I can get the timer going. There we go.
I would like to
Yes,
nominate
like to
Edith
nominate
Bazile as
Edith
chair,
Bazile.
please.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't get the second one. Could you repeat that?
I would like to nominate or advocate for Edith Bazile to be chair member, please, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yashi, are we putting it in the chat or are we
You
saying it
can
out?
put it in the chat. I prefer the chat, but I'm writing down what you guys are saying as well.
Hi, my name is Henrietta. I would also like to nominate Edith Bazile.
For anyone else interested, don't be shy. Feel free to write your name or someone else's in the chat. Thank you, everyone. All right, Edith, do you accept or reject this nomination?
I accept this nomination.
Okay. Do you mind just giving us your little speech so that we move
Sure.
on, even though you're... And we
Sure.
also have Genevieve as well. Genevieve, do you accept or reject this nomination? Someone wrote Genevieve in the chat. And Hope nominated Bethany. All right, Bethany, do you accept or reject the nomination?
I'm not able to accept the nomination
All
right
right.
now. Thank you.
Yep. Edith, if you don't mind sharing with us why you're seeking this, why do you want to serve? What are your strengths that you will bring? We all know you, but for families that don't know who you are, can you please share?
Sure, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Edith Bazile. I am a Boston Public School graduate. I am the mother of a graduate from Boston Public School who had an IEP. I currently have a granddaughter who has an IEP for autism, and I am a surrogate parent for 2 students, one at a middle school who has an emotional impairment, and the other one at a high school who also has an IEP for emotional impairment. So I would like to accept this nomination because I believe that we need to really address and collaborate with the district on comprehensive and effective services in special education for our students. I believe that parents' voice is the most important voice. The schools have parents 6 hours a day. You have your child 18 hours plus the weekend. So time in this platform is critical for you to express your concerns, your needs, and your desires for your child. You are their representative. I believe that there's so much to do in BPS. We need to address comprehensive services for students with autism. We need literacy that ensures our students with disabilities can read. We need to strengthen therapeutic support. Transportation obviously continues to be a red herring, and bus monitor training and safety is critical that we address. Services for multilingual learners. We need to ensure that our students with disabilities have access to the life of the school and extended year school programs, transition services, which we talked about today. And that includes students with IEPs, but also students with 504 plans, so that they are not kept from pursuing their goals and dreams. I believe that if we really use this platform as parent voice, centering parent voice, and making sure that you have time to answer, to ask and get your answers to questions and follow up, that is my goal and that is my interest in being chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Edith, since you're unopposed, you are new chair. Welcome to hanging out with us or continuing to hang out with us at the district level. Eleni, we can move on to the vice chair.
Thank you so much, Yashi. Congrats. Vice Chair, support the chair at general meetings and facilitate meetings of the executive board if needed, and perform other duties consistent of the role.
So I will begin the timer once again. Everyone feel free to nominate someone or yourselves during this time for the vice chair role.
I would like to nominate Henrietta Ezionito. I'll put her name in the chat.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for participating tonight. All right. Henrietta, do you mind, or will you accept or reject this nomination? Sorry.
I do accept the nomination. Thank you.
All right, let me just spotlight you. Give me 1 second. We would like to hear why you would like to join SpEdPAC. Let me remove. All right. Let me just start the 2 minutes. Give me 1 second. All right, go right ahead.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Henrietta Izionito. Nice to meet everyone. I am a parent of a child with special needs. That alone gives me, that's my own strength right there. I do have personal experience and that's also my credibility. And also, I am committed to advocating with students with special needs and ensuring that every child receives support and resources that they deserve. And also, as a chairperson, I would like to work hard to ensure that just to bridge the gap between our parents and the district, to ensure that the parents or caregivers feel heard, and just empower them to participate in every special need process. So I just want to make sure that if you're heard and seen. So that's one of the reasons why I would like to join SpEdPAC. So I'm excited and thank you for having me.
All right, I'm going to let the timer run just in case you think of anything else.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting everyone. So I'm excited.
Congratulations, Henrietta and
Thank
Edith.
you so much.
So exciting.
Obviously, we know that you are our new vice chair. Congratulations.
Congratulations, ladies. You guys both deserve it. You ladies are phenomenal. This is a new dispensation of time, well needed, long overdue.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to move on to the secretary role. Let me start the timer for all of you to share the nominees. Eleni, sorry.
No worries. Secretary, record the proceedings of the SpEdPAC general meetings and take and maintain notes.
Starting the timer so that you can nominate yourselves or anyone you would like to join SpEdPAC.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah, is that you, Kiona?
Yeah, I just noticed in the chat there were some other nominations for co-chair.
Those
Did I
came
miss
after
it?
the timer ended.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
saw those as well. Thank you. Yeah, just to make sure, those were shared during Harrietta's speech, so we had moved on from the nominations portion. All right, a little under a minute if anyone else would like to nominate themselves or someone to join SpEdPAC secretary role. I see that Lisa Jean was nominated in the chat.
I'm going to decline. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the thought though.
Anyone else? We have 16 seconds.
There's a person in the chat that was nominated. Sequoia Craig.
That's for treasurer. We're not doing treasurer just yet.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No worries, no worries. So we will leave this position to be filled. Once the SpEdPAC board joins and you guys start meeting, feel free to run an election for secretary. I'm happy to support if needed. We're going to move on to treasurer.
Treasurer, manage the funds provided by the district, collected or donated for the BPS SpEdPAC. Be accountable for all receipts and disbursements. And forgive me, reimbursements.
All right, so let me begin the timer right now, and then we'll start with the treasurer nominations. Thank you. So whoever just put Sequoia in the chat, feel free to write her name again for nomination. Thank you, everyone. Sequoia, do you accept or reject the nomination?
I accept.
Okay, great. Sandy, do you accept or reject the nomination?
Sorry, I cannot accept the nomination.
I saw that name and I appreciated seeing it. Miss you. Miss you.
Miss you too. Thank you.
All right. So again, Sequoia, we're running out of what we would love to hear from you. So I'm just gonna put a timer for that, okay?
I would love to be the treasurer to make sure everyone is treated fairly and to make sure that the funds are equally distributed without bias and that we can have a thriving BPS school system and so the children can have a great future and great investments, healthy meals, wholesomeness, wellness, and just to make sure that the money is not being mishandled, misused, but used for the wellness of the children and the strengthening of the BPS school system.
Sequoia families are asking if they could please see you in the
Oh,
chat, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
If you don't mind, I
I
will spotlight you happily. I mean, I can't
It's
see.
okay. Sorry.
I just let me.
You guys see me?
Yes, we could see you now. Let me just remove a spotlight so I could add you to the spotlight. There we go, everyone. You could see Sequoia. Sorry, we couldn't see you earlier. Thank you so much. And sorry to interrupt. You still have some time.
So I just want to make sure everyone gets treated fairly. The BPS system needs to be stronger, more dedicated, more empathy, and money is essential to make sure the children's needs are met, as well as the staff, that they see that the money is going in the right places and not mishandled.
Thank you. Sequoia, I had asked earlier if everyone could put their full names. If you could please do that, that would be great. I know who you are, but I just want to make sure for the sake of today's election process that we're following the process, okay? And then I'll gather everyone's name at the end. All right, Eleni, we're going to move on to the next couple roles. Let me just see if it lets me. There we go.
Thank you so much, Yashi. Members at large and alt members at large. Members at large are considered members of the BPS SpEdPAC Executive Board. Attend meetings on an ongoing basis. Roles for the members at large are determined on an ongoing basis at the executive board meetings based on current needs of SpEdPAC to distribute responsibilities. All members of the executive board must agree that any position of the Boston SpEdPAC represented to the district and other third parties has been reviewed and approved by a majority of the executive board members. Every effort should be made for the SpEdPAC executive board to be broadly represented of the racial and ethnic diversity of the BPS community. And we will continue to ask folks who are interested to please share the following in your speech. Why are you seeking this position? Why do you want to serve? What strengths will you bring?
All right, so I'm going to start the timer. Please start the nominations in the chat. For anyone that would like to be a member at large or an alt member. Actually, we're doing members at large at this time. For our interpreters, like I said earlier, if you could please stick around, that would be great. If you're unable to, that's totally fine. I completely understand. All right, I'm gonna go through each nomination at a time, if that's okay with you, Eleni.
Sounds great.
All right, Bethany, do you accept or reject the nomination?
Sorry, I accept for member at large.
Okay. Roxy, do you accept or reject the nomination?
Hi, I reject the nomination, but thank you.
When I saw the name, it was music to my ears, and I miss your face and your voice, but okay, I appreciate
Thank you.
And we said that we don't accept the rejection.
Crossed our fingers.
Hope, do you accept or reject? Hope?
Yeah, I accept.
Okay. Sandy.
I reject the nomination.
Not the
Sandy.
say no.
Sandy.
Trying to get
Danielle.
the band back
why?
together.
Danielle, do you accept or reject the nomination? She's still on the call. Danielle, you're still on the call by any chance?
I can also check the list of participants, Miss
She's
Yashi.
here. She's here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to other people and then come back to her. Lexi, do you accept or reject the nomination?
I accept.
Okay. Lisa Jean.
I accept. Thank you.
All right, and we had someone named Caroline in the chat. Do you accept or reject the nomination?
I gladly accept.
Oh, it's Carol Walker. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. All right, going back to Danielle Tierney, do you accept or reject the nomination?
Hi, everyone, all my old friends. I'm sorry, I just can't make the commitment right now, but thank you so much for asking.
Danielle, why? Why?
All right, so I'm just gonna give everyone your 2 minutes. I'll start with Bethany. Give me 1 second to get you started. Go right ahead.
Hi, I would like to serve as member at large. I have served as member at large in various roles on SpEdPAC for, this is my 8th year, I believe. I think this is where I best serve the board, being in a position to take on different things. I can handle this commitment. I have gotten to serve as interim chair and interim vice chair. I've learned so much from the people around me, from Edith Bazile and Roxy Harvey, and I want to continue my service in a capacity that I am able to honor my commitment.
I'll start the timer again for Hope.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hope Bastian. I'm a parent of a first grader next year who's autistic. And I'm really interested in being on this board. Came from another district. And this space, the SpEdPAC in the district I came to, was a space where I learned what was possible to ask for from my kids' school, what was possible to ask for from teachers. And that made all the difference in terms of the communication between the school and home, knowing what was going on in the classroom. My kid can't tell me. And so I need to be in communication with the adults that get to spend their whole day with my kid. So that I can help them, so I can support them. And so I'm just really grateful for having a space, a peer space where I'm with other parents, with other families, learning about all of the really amazing things that can happen in schools for our kids, and coming together to make sure that we make the changes so that those amazing things can happen in all of the schools. I am here for racial equity. I am here for transformation. I am here for making schools safe places for all of our kids and helping kids who don't have disabilities understand how important it is that our kids are in their classrooms with them. So yeah, that's that's it. I was able to be on the board last year, and I'm really excited about what this new board can do with officers who have been elected. So yeah, I hope to keep contributing and joining with you all. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next
Oh,
one.
one more thing is I'm also I speak English and Spanish. I'm learning Haitian Creole. I want to make sure that we're really reaching out to families all over the district. And as a board member, I'd like us to create some smaller spaces at schools, in communities where, you know, it's not just like a 2-hour meeting and it's over next month, but like that we really have time to come together and get to know each other, learn what's going on around the district and support each other in different ways.
Thank you. Lexi?
Hi, I'm Lexi Patera. I have 2 children in elementary school, incoming 6th grader and an incoming 3rd grader. Both, well, one is on an IEP and the other is on a 504. One of them is autistic. And then I also myself have epilepsy. And the way it looks is actually quite a lot like ADHD. All of that to say, I'm seeking the position for board member at large because I think it's really important, especially during this time, that we have people on the board who are also disabled, and that we're paying attention to disabled people and disabled voices. I'm also for racial equity. The school is making lots of changes with inclusion, and I believe that it's important to have continuity through all of that and have someone keeping an eye on all of that. So yeah, the strengths I'll bring is just that it's just experience, is personal experience, and a passion for education and our children, and that they have.
Thank you. Lisa Jean.
Hi, I've served a number of years myself. I also am happy to bring a disability, background as I'm autistic. I love working on policy. This past year, I did a lot of work as a secretary that wasn't my best. It wasn't the best role for me. And I'm really excited about next year doing work that I'm better suited for and making a bigger contribution. I look forward to the work ahead and happy to serve with all of you.
Thank you.
Oh, I should say, I guess I need to be voted in first. So sorry about that. Looking ahead too much.
Yeah, no worries. All right. And lastly, Carol.
Good evening, everybody. I'm excited. I am a mother of 4, a grandparent of 9, and 2 of my grandkids are autistic. And I just want to make sure my kids, my grandkids, your kids, and everybody kids are getting what they need and supposed to be getting from our schools. And so I'm inspired, I'm motivated to be a part of something Edith is a part of, because she's a big inspiration to me. So like, I just want to make a difference. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that is all of our nominees. I know earlier we didn't necessarily vote, even though you voted because we were unopposed. So
Oh, there's one more nominee.
is there? I missed
Yeah,
one?
Tanisa Adele.
Oh, Tanisa, so sorry. Do you accept the request? I didn't ask you earlier.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
I had to do
Yeah.
the Tanisa's shout out.
I love you guys. Yes, I do. Thank you for
All
having
right,
me back.
Anissa, please let us know your speech, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I apologize. I was going to say. I'm sorry. You guys know I'm not a big talker. I do talk a lot, but I'm not a big speaker when it comes to this platform. But listen, I am appreciative. I want the cohesion that we continue to have, and hopefully it's more in abundance. We need one another more than we think. We're more alike than we think. The more we stick together, the more I feel that we can achieve. It's possible. We are enough, and we can do this. It's so important. I have 2 children with IEPs that attend the BPS, and a third child who is typical, and she is a big helper to her older brothers. And I think it's so important. I've learned so much from names you might not know: Roxy, Harvey, Edith, Bethany. Even Hope. I worked with Hope, and I met her this year, and I learned from her. Lisa Jean, I love you guys sincerely. I'm constantly learning, and we all are. We have to keep that focus on what's important, okay? And I have someone to say, you want to say hi? Say hi, John. Say hi, yeah. Yeah, and I love you guys. It's a struggle to get to the meetings, and I feel like to piggyback off of Lisa and Bethany, I feel like I'm best suited to serve as board member because I have more of a commitment as a board member rather than any other position. And thank you guys so much. SpEdPAC is so important, and it is needed. And that's it for me.
Thank you. All right. So I'm gonna give all of you 2 minutes to vote for all the members that actually, let me write all of you guys in the chat. These will not be in alphabetical order. I am really sorry. Just 'cause I want to get through. Let's see. Don't vote just yet, please. Give me 1 second. I think that's it, right? All right. I'm starting the timer, and then all of you can begin voting. So please vote for the members I just put in the chat. You could vote to up to 4 people for the member at large position.
Can you vote for yourself?
No.
Oh.
It says 1 vote. It didn't specify which. So yes, there are exactly 8 positions, but 6 accepted the nominations. Bethany, if you could please put that for everyone to see, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Yashi. How many people can we vote for? You said 4?
Up to 4, yeah.
Okay.
And Tiny, so you voted for Sandy, but Sandy is not participating. Up to 4 votes, and as long as you have 1 vote, you have the role. I think I saw everyone's name in the chat. But Eleni and Brianna will do the count in 1 moment. All right, if you could give them some time to. Yes, we just want to make sure to do the count just for the sake of the election process.
And Yashi, we don't need their last name necessarily, right? Or do we need?
No, not for this,
Okay,
no. I
okay,
will ask you for the full names later, just because I know that
okay,
members that I'm not familiar with. And I just
okay,
want to capture that later when we
okay,
are.
great.
You guys did great. I appreciate all of you.
We appreciate you, Yashi and Eleni.
It's
And
an honor to be here. Just please allow my amazing colleague Brianna and I just to
yeah, no worries.
double view this with two set of eyes. Thank you so much.
And to our interpreter sticking around, thank you. I saw that one just chatted me. I appreciate it.
And is Joshi, just to be right, we just need to make sure that each person got at least one vote. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, great.
So I'll share their names in the chat again for you, Eleni and Brianna.
I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So everyone
And
got
then
at
whenever
least
you're
one
ready.
vote. But Brianna, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say whenever you're ready.
Oh, yes, go ahead. Yeah, we're excited, Brianna and I, to share that everyone got at least one vote.
All right. So congratulations to all of you. You are the new members at large. Some of you are not necessarily new, but either way, new to this board for the upcoming school year. We are going to begin nominations for the members at large. And those will be 2 roles if people would like to nominate themselves or someone else.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm confused. I'm not even sure who I'm voting for. Like, who else is up to I was looking through the chat. I'm like, I don't even know.
You gotta check the participants list, love.
I am.
I don't want to sway you in any direction. That's why I pointed you to the participant list. Thank you, everyone. So I'm just gonna go through the list and let me know if you accept or reject. Sandy, you accept your own nomination?
Yes, I accept my own nomination.
Anne Marie? Anne Marie, are you here?
Yes, I would like to. I'm speaking from a phone. I cannot. I thank you for the nomination. Too much going on in my life, but I hope maybe in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kiona?
Yes, I accept. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Roxy?
Hi, yes, I accept. Thank you.
Okay. And lastly, Duckins?
Roxy, yay, Roxy, yay. Yay. Give me amen. Awesome.
All right, one more. Duckins, do you accept or reject the nomination? Let me give it one more second before we move on. Is that person still in the meeting?
Yes, I just checked.
Seconds, feel free to write it in the chat. If I'm mispronouncing your names, I'm sorry. You could say, let us know if you accept or reject. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so we'll begin with Sandy. Sandy, if you could please let us know what you'd like to share with us today.
Hold on. Hi, my name is Sandy LeBon. I have 2 children on the autism spectrum, and they both are receiving IEPs, are on IEP plans. I have been involved with SpEdPAC for many years now as a board member, as secretary, and as vice chair for 2 years, several years ago. I'm currently in my first year teaching in BPS. I'm also a BPS graduate. I'd love to commit more to SpEdPAC. It's been a major part of my life, especially when my students were diagnosed and entered into BPS. But time-wise, I know that as an alternate is where I'll serve best. I supported past board members, even when I wasn't on the board, and I would love to do so. I have a foot in BPS on both ends as an employee and as a parent. And I understand the way that our board works, and I'd love to contribute in any way possible to the board as an alternate.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna move on to Kiona.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kiona Vilas, and I had the privilege of being one of the alts this year. I have 2 children within BPS, one on an IEP, one IEP pending, twice exceptional. And I am very much looking forward to being able to offer more of my support this year. I feel that I have a lot of my gift to bring to the school system at large, particularly in advocacy in regards to the psychological impact of all the things happening right now, having happened within the past 5 years in particular, within on our school system in particular. So yeah, I would really love to serve in this way. I think that I would be able to give more of my time this year. I feel like we just literally scratched the surface. So I'm looking forward to being able to dig a little deeper this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats, Kiona.
Don't say congrats just yet, you guys. We have to vote. Just give us one. We have 2 more. Duckins, while you're at work, you feel free to write it in the chat. Sorry, Roxy. Since we can't hear from you during this time, but I appreciate you participating. Roxy, take it away, please.
Thank you.
Roxy! In the
Hey,
house!
everyone. It's wonderful to be here and to see all of you. I'm interested in being an alternate board member because I really believe in our children. All of our children, I like to think of them as really just differently able, and they add such value to society, to the school system. And I think it's important that individuals start to understand the value added of our neurodivergent children, so that they can really see the assets they bring in the same way that multilingual learners and having other languages bring. Being able to process, think differently, communicate differently adds value. And I think it's important that people also understand that component of what individuals that have different abilities bring to the table. Right now, the most I can contribute is as an alternate, just because of everything else. My children are now also reaching that teenage transition age, so there's a lot going on. But I really want to give back, and I strongly believe in the work that SpEdPAC does, the advocacy, the community of families and of individuals who are family members, caregivers, siblings, etc., to individuals with disabilities who are in the school system. I think just even having that community with each other is so important because it can be very lonely. It can feel isolating. So I appreciate the value that everyone here in this space, or that had to step out of the space that were here earlier, really bring to the table. And it boils down to something very simple for me. Our children deserve the best, and they should get every service they can, at least until 22, from the school system, so that they can contribute to the city of Boston. They can have an enviable life that they will enjoy. So I'm here to support in any way I can, whether as an alternate, as someone in the city of Boston who also is in the same experience of having children with disabilities. So, you know, I'm mindful it's 8:53, so that's where I'll pause right there and just say, I'm just happy to see you all.
Thank you. And Duckins, I don't know if you are able to speak or put something in the chat while you're at work. I'll give 2 minutes just in case. Not those 2 minutes, no. Sorry, guys.
Joshua, I can read their entry in the chat if you wish.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, go right
So
ahead.
my name is, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, Duckins Petit Maitiar. I have a child in an IEP at the Grew Elementary, former vice chair for Ward 18 Democratic Committee, Family Committee Secretary at the Grew Elementary School, law student at Mass School of Law, and part of the law enforcement official. Happy to support this great committee and part of the family.
Right. So for everyone, just as a reminder, there are 2 alt member roles. You could only vote for one person. So I will start the timer. And again, I'm just reminding you, 2 roles, you can only vote for one person.
Remember to vote for yourself.
So, member,
Yashi,
you are allowed to vote for
Yashi,
yourself. Is that the rule?
Yashi, I'm sorry. I see in our election process there's space for 4 alt board member seats. Do you have the same information I do?
One second, I'm talking to myself clearly because I was muted.
Okay.
I can't go back on the slides without trying to edit, but these were the slides from, let's see.
From our Boston SpEdPAC election night process, I have space for 4 alt members.
This is what I have. Top 2 vote getters win. Oh, sorry. Here we are. Hey, you're right. Okay, so Eleni, the top 4. We have 4. So we're good to go. Thank you, Bethany, for catching that. I
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
Okay. So what I ask of all of you that are still here, if you could please put your full name, the role, and your email, so we could download the chat and have that information available for your pack. And Edith or Bethany, for anyone that has left the meeting, if you could please put their information as well, that'd be helpful for all of us.
Yes. Anyone who has left that was voted on?
Yeah, so
Yes,
I'm
yes, will
familiar
do.
with all of you except for Sequoia, which I think is Howard, but I don't want to misspell her name, and then Henrietta. But I just want to make sure we have all the roles listed. Ask you who is what. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
All right.
Again,
I
thank
am
you for
saving.
Can I
catching
ask
that.
a question?
Who's speaking? Sorry.
So if there are 4 seats,
Yep.
The top 4 vote getters are getting it, not the top 2, right?
Right.
Okay, just clarifying. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a typo on our end. There are 4 roles that can be filled, and we have 4 candidates, and all 4 were voted for. You're bilingual. You get stuck somehow sometimes. I don't even know how.
It is time for bed.
Maybe. Again, if you folks can please write your email, that'd be great. If not, Bethany, you and I can connect offline and just make sure we have everyone's contact info. Okay?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much. Well, that's a wrap. Congratulations to everybody who is on the board this year. We all look forward to working together. We'll be reaching out with a welcome and a congratulations and some information and possible dates for our first board meeting together. Thank you so much for staying on late. To all of the families, all of the past board, all the presenters, Kay, all of BPS staff, and thank you again.
Bethany, can I just also add, it's been an honor to work with you
Yeah.
and the board this past year. Your passion and your commitment to the families and the students was unbelievable in holding us accountable and also being a supportive leader. Thank you for your service and thank you for your valuable time. And thank you for caring about all of our kids.
Kay,
You,
thank you so much. Like, I'm gonna get
Lisa, and
misty-eyed. I
also Edith.
appreciate it.
And
Thank
Edith.
you, and congratulations to everyone. Bethany's not going anywhere. She's still part of the board. And so we're delighted about that. I just want to say that let's make something great happen for our kids this year. Let's work hard, roll up our sleeves, and focus on children. It's not about adults. It is about our children who are enrolled in BPS. We adults have our jobs, we have our careers, we have our lives. Our children need an opportunity. So this year we are going to focus on the children. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you,
Focus on
everyone.
children.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.